Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Students, today we are going to read our lesson Science and Values. I will give you the main points of this essay. This essay, Science and Values, is written by Bertrand Russell. He was born in 1872 and died in 1970. Russell was a British philosopher, mathematician, controversialist and reformer, important especially for his work on mathematical logic. Although his philosophical views underwent a continual development and revision, he remained constant in his admiration of physics and his belief that science provides the best understanding of all that exists. He became widely known to the general public through campaigns and writings in favor of progressive views in politics, morals, education, and religion. He campaigned for women's suffrage, opposed the First World War, ran a progressive school, and demonstrated in favor of nuclear disarmament. He combined scholarship with literary skill and rare talent for popularization both in writing and as a broadcaster. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1950. This is the Science and Values is an extract from his sixth chapter of Russell's book, The Impact of Science on Society. He is often termed as a passionate skeptic, but his firm faith in human He is often termed as a passionate skeptic, but his firm faith in human progress is quite evident from this extract. It is written in the typical Russellian style and characterized by lucidity and clarity. Okay, now I will give you the main points of this essay. In the beginning of this essay, Russell admits that science may intensify two old evils, tyranny and war. But leaving its dark aspects aside, here he discusses in detail the positive and pleasant aspects of science. He says that science can give us two kinds of benefits. It can decrease bad things and increase good things. It can abolish poverty and excessive hours of labor. Before the development of agriculture, people usually die of hunger. But even after its development, the misery of the common people did not diminish. It introduced slavery, monarchy, and large wars. It increased the population. It raised the standard of life of only the small governing minority. The life of the majority of the people remained miserable. Russell says that the growth of industrialism and the growth of democracy in the West have taken place at one and same time. If population is controlled, democracy is not misled by some dogmatic creed, and wars are averted, poverty would be abolished throughout the whole world. The growth of medicine is another gift of science. The discovery of vaccination at the beginning of the 19th century helped increase the life of man. It decreased the infant mortality to a great extent. Similarly, the discovery of anesthetics also reduced human suffering. Science has also helped us in reducing crimes and maintaining law and order. This became possible because of street lighting, fingerprinting, and the psychology of crime and punishment. The increased productivity of labor has resulted in the increase of education. America has done a lot to spread education. Russell tells us that once while traveling in America, he met a driver who was a PhD. Science has made it possible for all people, rich or poor, to have equal opportunity to rise to any position using their talents. It has also made people happier than before. If the fear of war is removed from their lives, their wealth of happiness can be increased manifold. Russell tells us what kind of disposition would prevail if a good world is created with the help of science. He says that many people would desire to know the important facts and many would be unwilling to accept pleasant illusions. By pleasant illusions, he means such opinions, ideas of suggestion or suggestions as are wrong and damaging but are apparently pleasant. If a person refuses to take a bitter pill that can cure his disease but accepts a sweet syrup that will ultimately aggravate his disease, he will be called a person preferring a pleasant illusion. Russell advises us to avoid such ignoble personal happiness. It is because such happiness is not only temporary but also harmful. People also ask Russell if his cold rationalism can give men real happiness. Russell's answer is that his rationalism cannot offer as much happiness as can be obtained from piling up wealth by swindling widows and orphans. He says that he is not concerned with the happiness of the individual, he is concerned with the happiness of mankind. He says that if we genuinely desire the happiness of mankind, we will have to give up certain forms of ignoble personal happiness. ये लोग रसल से पूछते थे कि क्या उसकी इस तरह की जो अक़लियत पसंदी इंसान को खुशी दे सकती है। रसल का जवाब क्या था कि इसकी अक़लियत पसंदी लोगों को वो खुशी नहीं दे सकती जो उन्हें बेवाओं और यतीमों का माल लूटने से हासिल होती है। वो कहता है कि इसका मकसद एक इंडिविजुअल की खुशी नहीं है बल्कि पूरी इंसानियत के लिए खुशी का हसूल है। Russell says that all fanatical creeds are harmful. They promote prejudice, hatred, and strife. It is true, even when only one fanatical creed is in the field, it cannot allow free inquiry because this may shake its hold on its followers. Therefore, all fanatical creeds are a big hindrance in the ways of intellectual progress. They involve priesthood that have a great power to keep their followers ignorant. They do not allow them to try to know the opposing point of view. They encourage hatred for creeds other than their own. People who claim that they love the poor in fact hate the rich. It means that those who love the members of their own creed or sect hate the people who belong to other creeds or sects. Russell says that such fanatical creeds play no role in increasing loving kindness among the people. The success of science is due to the fact that it favors observation and inference and rejects authority. Russell thinks that every attempt to encourage the use of force and authority in intellectual matters stops progress. Science does not support subjective certainty. That is why science does not favor persecution. It means that when a man believes that only his ideas are correct and no other person has any right to contradict him, he develops in him a propensity to inflict pain on others. He considers his opponents liable to be punished. If man becomes tolerant and listens to the point of view of other people, he will never resort to violence. In this way, the golden principle of live and let live will help a lot to prevail peace in the world. Russell declares the desire for a fanatical creed a great evil. The religious fervor is always a product of fear and despair. It is an irrational reaction to danger. Dread of the hydrogen bomb promotes fanaticism, and fanaticism is likely to lead to actual use of hydrogen bomb. Russell briefly describes the relation of love with intellectual honesty. He who loves his fellow men will honestly favor what is right without any greed or fear. He says that different people may adopt different attitude towards the intolerable sufferings of the people, but only he who can feel genuine compassion, love, and sympathy for the suffering humanity will try to understand the problem and its causes so that he may be able to resolve it. His approach will be practical and not based on shared sentiments. Russell says that there are certain things that our age needs and certain things that it should avoid. The most disturbing psychological problem of the people is the desire for death. Those who cannot face facts bravely lose will to live. To Russell, this is the tired and weak reaction. It can only be met by courage and a reasoned optimism. The most important thing is love. Love among all human beings, irrespective of their caste, creed, and color. If you feel this, you have a motive for existence, a guide in action, a reason for courage. These are the things that religion asks us to adopt in order to be a good human being. Science ensures the well being of the human race on certain conditions, and these certain conditions are abolition of war, even distribution of ultimate power, and limitation of the growth of population. All these are now becoming possible in Western industrial countries. The growth of population is almost nil. The even distribution of economic and political power has been achieved in Britain and other democratic countries. As to the prevention of war, Russell believes that this objective will soon be achieved. Russell lays stress on the establishment of an international authority to prevent war. He says that today there are only two sovereign states, Russia and United States. If in some ways either of the two becomes the only important and powerful state or single superpower, it will be able to establish a single authority over the whole world. It will be in a position to impose its own will on other countries, so it will make future wars impossible. At first, this authority will be based on force, but when the Western nations come under control, there will be no need of using force. Other nations will also be ready to follow the path of peace. If in this way war is abolished, science will become wholly beneficial. Russell believes that this authority or world state will remain stable. He says that main causes of violence are love of power, competition, and hate and fear. Love of power will have no national outlet as military force will be concentrated in the international army. Competition will be regulated by law. Fear will disappear when no war is एक्सपेक्टेड. यानी रसल को यकीन है कि ये अथॉरिटी या आलमी रियासत मुस्तकम रहेगी. वो कहता है कि तशद्दुद की बुनियादी वजूहात इक़्तिदार की हवस, मुकाबला और नफ़रत और ख़ौफ है, क्योंकि फ़ौजी क़ुव्वत आलमी फ़ौज में इकट्ठी हो जाएगी, इसलिए कौमी सतह पर इक़्तिदार की हवस का इजहार नहीं हो सकेगा. मुकाबलाबाजी को कानून इसकी जायज़ हदूद में रखेगा और ख़ौफ उस वक्त गायब हो जाएगा जब ये तवक्को पैदा हो जाएगी कि जंग कभी नहीं होगी. If in this way peace is secured, there will be a rapid increase in material prosperity. Prosperity always makes people kind and caring. In such a friendly and peaceful environment, nationalist propaganda will become illegal. Then children in schools will not be taught to hate other nations. Russell thinks that in the establishment of this international authority, there will be no physical or technical obstacles. However, he thinks that evil passions like suspicion, fear, lust for power, hatred, and intolerance may hinder the establishment of such an authority. To him, these evil passions are more dominant in the East than in the West. The world can be better than what it is at present if mutual distrust between East and West is removed. That's enough. It is just a summary of this essay, Science and Values. So, students, please prepare long questions for examination, and you also have to go through the text for preparation of short questions and for your objective papers. Thanks.